Hello crafty friends, this is Rachel Crafting Mama Bear. Today's video I will be sharing with you my May and June 2026 completed pages. I was in kind of a funk mentally in May and just had no desire to film. So it didn't prevent me from coloring, my funk didn't, but yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to do a whole lot more. So let's see here. So for May, I completed 56 pages, 8 buddy colors, 4 prompts and challenges. I purchased 10 books, had 7 whips, and my collection was 207. In June, I completed 41 pages, 11 buddy colors, 1 prompt and challenge, purchased 9 books. I have 8 whips, and I have 216 books in my collection. So this is going to be a long video because I have 97 pages to show you. One of those is actually a page that I told you I completed in April. It was on my iPad. So I have this book from Hatchet Heroes. Before I knew better, I purchased a bunch of books on Etsy, and so I'm going to just be using them to color in. So it's this book, and I completed this page with Gus and Jack. Let's see if I can get it without the glare. And this was for a prompt in the Disney Color book. Sorry, the Disney Coloring Group on Instagram, hosted by Jess and Zoe. Yes. So I just colored this, and that was my page that I mentioned in April. And I do plan on recording a video sharing how I use my iPad and how I use Procreate to color coloring pages. Okay, in no order at all. I've just got books everywhere, so I'm gonna just grab them. All right, this is my Grand Block Vitro book that I got in April 2026, and I just went and completed the introduction page. I'm not 100% sure how I'm supposed to color stained glass, so I just went around, based everything with an alcohol marker, and then used my colored pencils, went around all of the edges and blended it out so it was lighter in the center of each little area. So yeah, I really wanted this book to challenge me, and I have gone on to Pinterest and saved some inspiration images, so hopefully that will help me the next time I get in here and work. So there's that. Next, I did a page in my Care Bear book. And I did this page. And I had mentioned, I think during my color by number, like completed pages video, I had mentioned that I don't really reach for this book. And I think it's because they don't have the black outlines. They provide like just darker colored outlines for the book, and it's just not my favorite. I don't love it. So I mentioned that I would swap it out, and instead of doing all of the different colors, I would do black, and I enjoyed this a lot more. So yes, there's that page. Next, I did some work in my reverse mandala book where I just use a pen and I just go around all of the little blobs. I had in the past tried like putting my mandalas on top of it and then yeah, using the watercolor stuff to kind of form my mandala, but yeah, that just became too much of a pain because none of it like really added up. So then I just started going around all of the little blobs of color, and this was just all white space that I filled in. So yep, I just did that one page. Next, I got out my Harry Potter coloring book, and I did Hermione, and I just did a flat alcohol base. That's it. Nothing super special. There's that. Next up, I have my 100 Quest color by number, and I completed this page. And I just like to use all of my extra Sharpies and just like random crummy alcohol markers for these. And I hadn't been in this book since August of 2025, so it was time to get a page done in there. Next, I have my Bob Ross color by number book, and I did this page. And I did this page with my Languo gel pens, and I thought it turned out pretty good. I had used my Guangna acrylic on this first page, and I didn't love it, but with my Languo pens, I really liked it on this. I've got so many of those Languo pens, and the 0.6 aren't my favorite to use, but because they scratch really easily, so I don't really love using them in my big Hatchet Hero Disney books, but I figured I could use them in something like this, and yeah, I'm happy with the way it turned out. All right, my pile is falling over here. Okay, and these are in absolutely no order from when I did it. I can't keep track of if it was in May or June. All right, then in Luna by Maria Troll, this was a buddy color page with Freya. And yeah, I used chalk pastel for the background. I based everything with my Crayola Super Tips, and then I went over with my Color colored pencils. And I did use some white acrylic for the little dots on the deer, and some gold for the centers of those flowers on her headband, and some of my black like glaze gel for the eyes. So this was a fun page to do. I will pop up Freya's image over here. I love how she did her background, the sky, her girl's purple hair and yellow dress, and the birds. Yellow and purple are my favorite colors. So she finished hers first, and as soon as I saw that, I was just in love. So yes. All right. And so for July, we have decided to go ahead and do this page on the opposite side. So we will be finishing that. Okay, next I have in Rooms of Wonder. What did I do in here? Oh, yes. I completed these 2 pages. And I just went in with my Staedtler and my Crayola Super Tips. And then I used my Ho2 Gold for some gold accents. There was no extra shading or anything like that. It was just straight color on these 2 pages. All right, and then I think this is A Year in Japan is what it translates to. Yeah, A Year in Japan. I had gone through here in January and done just lots of gold work wherever I thought I wanted gold. I went through the book and added it. But I went ahead and finished this page, and this is the summer page. So it's the beginning of the summer section for the book. And this is my gold watercolor that I got off of Temu. All of the other gold is from my Signo Gold. And then this is watercolored again with my Staedtler. I scribbled them on a slick surface and picked it up with my water brush and then added it to the page. No extra shading or anything like that, just straight watercolor to that. So that was my first completed page in here. I have a lot of others that have gold on them, but yeah, that was my first completed page. Next is in Woodland Kingdom coloring book. This was a group buddy color page, and we did this page. So it's just a big elephant design and then a whole bunch of other animals inside of it. Let's see. Okay, the elephant background is an acrylic marker. The elements were all colored, or sorry, they were all based with my Prima Marketing watercolors. And then I came in with my Crayola, sorry, no I didn't. I used my Prismacolor. I used my Prismacolor pencils to come in and add shading. And then I used my, oh gosh, words. My gel pen, my glazed black gel pen for all the eyes and noses on these little critters. This was the June page. The group had this page for April and May, and I got this book in May. So I'm hoping to get this one finished sometime. It's all based, like the greenery is based. I just need to figure out some other colors. And then they've already got another double page spread picked for July and August. So that was my first page completed in Woodland Kingdom. Sorry guys, my pile of books is tumbling over. All right, next up is in Unicorn World Magical Painting Book, and I did this page and this page. Yes, and this is just a straight water book. So the pages look like this. You take your wet brush, touch the black line work, and then it will pull out color in all of the areas. And this book was gifted to me by the lovely Chelsea. So finished those two pages. Okay, next is in this Capybara Cuties book. I got this in June, and I don't think I shared it in my haul video. There are a couple books that I actually forgot to share in the haul because they were over in my pile of completed pages. So the first page I did in here was this page, and my daughter picked this page. I asked her to flip through the book and just find a page for me, and this is what she picked. Just straight alcohol marker. I didn't add any shading, anything like that. It's a fun enough little book that I don't think it really needs that. So finish that page. Here is another book that I got in June that I didn't show, and I completed this first page with, I don't know, I'm gonna say that that's a little kitty cat with its little backpack on. And this was Crayola Super Tips, watered out, and then my Ho2 Gold for the little frame. And then I think I also came through with my Papermate flares and added like the darkness in those areas that the Crayola Super Tips were like washed out in, and they did bleed through. So finished that page. I think I've got, I want to do this page. I want to do the cover image and see if I can do that. I've been, the last few days, I've been enjoying using my Guangna acrylic pins, all of these. I've been using them in some of my Kirby books, like putting it down and then washing it out with my water brush, and I haven't had bleed through issues. So I may give those a try if I want a watercolor look, but don't want to worry about bleed through. Another book that I got in June that I don't think I put in my haul is this Care Bear book, and I had seen Myra use crayons and chapstick. So she put on a bunch of crayons and then put chapstick over it and then blended it out, and so I wanted to try it on this page, and that's what I got on that. And then I came and I worked on this page and I did the same thing. Minus the background, which was just a, yeah, it was just a water-based marker. I used my crayons and used the chapstick and tried to mush them out. It worked okay. There's a little bit of bleed through and you can see some of the oil from the chapstick, but yeah, it's still cute. Just a quick, easy little page. I think I'll be using my crayons and stuff in here just for just some easy peasy books. All right, next I have another paint with water book. This is The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I did a few pages in here. This is just like the unicorn one. The pages are white with black line work, and you just take your wet water brush, touch the black lines, and it will pull out the color. So I finished that page. This page. And that was it. Finished those two. Another paint with water book, Planet Cute. Let's see here. All right, I did this page. And the little splatter is when I'm using my watercolor brush, I will just take it and like flick it after I've used it in an area and there's some pigment on there to just add some little splashes of color in there. This was a cute little book that I found at Five Below, and I got it for my daughter, I think in December, yeah, November. I gave it to her for Christmas and I thought it was so cute and I wanted one too. Then I finished this page. These are just, again, I was having some, yeah, I was having a hard time in May with just my mental health and not feeling 100%. I don't know. I have depression and ADHD, and I am 39. So I'm at this weird stage where I don't know if some of it is like medication related or if it's premenopause. And so it's just been kind of, yeah, it was a rough month. And sometimes I just didn't have the bandwidth to do anything more than pick up a paintbrush and just move some color around. This book is super cute. I think there are only a couple pages left in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pages, and then this will be a completed book. All right, and then I have my baby stitch book. This was supposed to be buddy color with my daughter, and she finished hers, but she didn't like how it came out, and so she didn't want me to share it with you. But here is my completed page, and I used just a lot of watercolor on this. Oh, and we used She had some of my old oil pastels, and so we used oil pastels for all of the green leaves. We sat at the table and she did hers and I did mine, and so we did oil pastels for that. And then I used my Prima Marketing watercolor for all of the other colors, so the red, the background, the purple, olive stitch. And then I took my, actually, I'm pretty sure this was a Guangna acrylic pen. Pretty sure it was this one that I took, and I went over all of the black line work for the leaves. And then I took my black acrylic marker and went back over all of the lines for stitch. And then the background, I just used an orange and a yellow watercolor and mushed them out. And they worked pretty decently on this paper. If you can see, there was no bleed through. And my Prima Marketing watercolors have been known to bleed through other paper. I was just using it in Worlds Within Worlds from Kirby, and there was bleed through on some of the colors, on my red actually. I used, it wasn't even this bright of a red, I used a different red in my Prima, and yeah, it bled through the page on Kirby. So I know lots of people complain about using alcohol marker on these books because the paper just kind of soaks it up, and I would agree with that. It does do that. So if you have water-based markers or watercolors, give that a try. It worked really, really nicely on this paper. So it was fun to get another page in here. My daughter and I did this page together. Do I not have it marked? I need to go and stamp. I know it was sometime last year. Her and I did that page together too. But yes, this is one of my favorites from May. I'm pretty sure. Oh, June. I guess I finished this at the beginning of June. But yeah, this was one of my favorites. I just love how bright. Yeah. And I didn't do any extra shading. It was just straight watercolor. So there's that. Next, this was a new book that I got in April. And I needed to get working in it, so I came in and I picked this page to finish. And this was all done with my Lango acrylic markers. Yeah, this book, I like that it's got a mix of the black outline and then no black outline. All of the characters are outlined in black, and then the background stuff is not outlined in black. And I enjoy that because it does give the page like a feeling of some depth, where it looks like the background is like falling into the background, and then the things that are outlined kind of pop forward. That page. Then this is my favorite color by number book. It's portraits. I was hoping to be able to finish this book in 2026, but I don't think that's going to happen. Alrighty, and I finished this page. Again, all with my Guangna markers. These stars were supposed to be different colors, and I didn't like it, so I just went in with my Hotu gold and made all of the stars the gold color. And this is May from Red Panda. And this was for the Disney Buddy Color Group. So, yes. Finish another page in there. All right. So, first up, I have The Way Home by Morgan O'Brien. And I did a couple of pages in here. First off, I did this page with a few ladies on Instagram. And it was all alcohol marker. And then I used some of my Just Art glitter for some of the scales on the fishes, and then some of my white acrylic to cover up the little fish skeleton and the clouds. And I used my black gel for the eyes. And then this was a buddy color with Chelsea. We did this page in honor of our first buddy color. And I'll pop Chelsea's up right over here. Thank you, Chelsea. So again, just alcohol marker and then white acrylic to cover up the black lines on the cloud. And I believe that was it for this book. It was just those 2 pages. Yep. Then I have Matchstick Mouse floral coloring book. And there were a few pages that I did in here. First one is this page. This was a buddy color with Chelsea and Freya on Instagram. And we're just going through this book. This is kind of turning into like a monthly project book for us. So this is all based in alcohol marker. I used some gold acrylic to go around the flames of the candles. And then I used my foil and glue to add some little polka dots to the teacup that Matchstick is taking her bath in. So I will pop up Freya and Chelsea's images over here. They're so adorable. Thank you, ladies, for another buddy color. Let's see. This was, oops, let's see here. Missing a page. Okay, this was also a group buddy color and just alcohol marker, and I don't think I used anything else. I don't think I used any gold or any sparkles or anything, just alcohol marker for that page. All right, and this was a page that a few of us did for Mother's Day. I think it was just Chelsea, Freya, and I, but to be honest, it was just so long ago. I don't remember. So yes, I did this page, and then I think I came through and I did a couple other pages because my husband gifted me this book for my birthday in March 2025. It was my first Matchstick book. And then I realized how much I hated the Amazon paper, and so I found Morgan O'Brien's Ko-fi shop, and then I went and ordered all of the books from then on out. I ordered them and printed them. So there were 2 pages that I had colored in my physical book, and I needed to come in and do them in this book. And one of those pages was this tulip page. Again, just alcohol marker, and then I used some white acrylic to add some stripes on the little wrapping for the flowers. And then I also did this. And this was, I tried to match what I did in the other book in here because I did this page for my birthday in the other book. And so yeah, just alcohol marker, and then I did use some of my Signal Gold for little accents. And yes, so there were all of the pages that I finished in that one. All right, next up I have a couple pages that I did in vitro, and I did these 2 pages, and I wanted to test out watercolors in here. So this page I based with my Liquitex, and then I came in with my Crayola Super Tips, added color to the sections and watered it out, and I didn't love that. The Crayola Super Tips just reactivated way too easily, and the slightest touch of water would have the colors bleed into all of the other areas. And so after a few pages, after I did a few colors on this side with that, I decided to then go in with my gouache on this page, and it worked a lot better. The gouache didn't reactivate quite as easily, and I liked the opacity that I got from it. And yes, I based this page also with my Liquitex, and I didn't have any sort of bleed through on either page. Oh, I guess I did right there. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out other ways that I can color in this book because of the black outline issue that I have with it. So this was, and I don't like the way that just Crayola Super Tips on their own leave all the streakiness. So this may be my solution to it, is to use my gouache. And I will actually give my my Guangna acrylic and my Languo pens, maybe I'll give those a try in here too and see how they work. But there were those 2 pages. And then I have a page in Wildflower Folk. And I had based this page a long time ago and finally got it finished. So this was based with alcohol marker, and then I used colored pencil over top. I used some white acrylic to go over the wings and to go over the bottle, and some gold little accents in certain places. But yeah, I think she turned out really pretty. Her eyes really, really pop. I'm really happy with that. And I don't do blonde very often, but I did on this one use purple in the shaded areas. So I based it all with like my lightest yellow, and then I came in with this like light purple with my pencil and added it in the darkest places. And then I came over with a yellow pencil and went over that and blended it out, and it gave a really natural sort of like shadow to the blonde. So yes. Then we have color and reveal animals. I had done a page in here and I really didn't like it. I was really disappointed with the way water-based markers worked in this book. So this time I did my alcohol markers, and it was a much more pleasant experience. The details on here are a bit too small for alcohol because the paper, it does bleed quite a bit. So it's not my favorite yet, but I'll keep trying and see if I can find another medium that I like to use in here, because I love the finished pages. I mean, it's just a very unique color by number in the way that it's not really stained glass, but it's, I don't know what to call it, but it's just very fun and unique. So I got a page finished in there. And then we have 50 Farmers Miniatures. This is a group buddy color on Instagram. And let's do my May page first. Here was the page that we did in May. This little mama hen and her 2 ducklings. This book is still a struggle for me. We took July off, and I'm happy because this is the only book that I find like I have to force myself to get into. So, based with alcohol marker, I came in with my Color colored pencils and added shading. And then I used a polka dot stencil and some distress ink to add the pattern to the bow and the bonnet. So there was that. And then for June, I had more fun with this page. And this was based with alcohol marker. And then I came in with my Papermate flares and added shadow by just dotting in the color. And some of these, actually, okay, so I used my Papermate flares and then the Staedtler 320. They have like a broad nib on one end and then a fine point on the other, and so I had to use this on some of them too. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. Of all the pages that I've done in this particular book, this was probably the one that I enjoyed the most. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's that. Next, this was another new book that I didn't include in my haul video because it was over here. And it is Winter Wonderland. This was a purchase that was enabled by Maya because I see Maya working in this and I had to add it. So I just used my Crayola Super Tips in here. I used it straight on the paper and then washed it out, and it took it really well. Like, I like the contrast that it gives. So you can see where I put the marker down and then watered it out, and it gives me, a variety in the shading. So I don't have to go in with colored pencils and add like dark spots to it. And then I used my Lango Gold to go over some of the details on the little birdie. So yes, there's that. And I've picked a couple pages that I like that don't necessarily scream winter to me, that I think I could do in the next couple months. This owl page, this butterfly page, and then this kind of like woodland page or double page spread. So I will get into there sometime soon. Next I have Fragile World, and this was a whip that I finally finished. And I finished this butterfly page. Alrighty, so the background, the purple, is my granulated watercolor. I can't tell you if it's my White Knight or my Kuretake. I don't know at this moment. If you really, really, really want to know, send me a message and then I will look in my book and figure it out for you. But it was all based with water-based marker, and then I came over with my Prismacolor. And I also used some of my gel crayons on like smushing some of these colors for the butterfly's wings. And then I took a black acrylic paint marker and went over all of the line work on it. And I used this as my like inspiration picture. All of these images in here are real animals, and so I wanted to match how the butterfly actually looks. So this was a fun page, and I wasn't really sure where I was going with it, but yeah, I think it came together pretty nicely. So there's that. Next up is in this new mythographic Menagerie by Fabiana Attanasio. I completed this seahorse page for Jamie Finding Joy in Colors Wild Year of Color. For May it was the seahorse. So this was based in alcohol marker. Came in with my Color colored pencils to add some depth and shading. I used a white acrylic to cover up all the bubbles, and then I used my black glaze for the eyes. And so yeah, I thought it turned out pretty cute. I'm happy. It was a really fast page to finish. So next I came in and on my 105 Mandela coloring book, I did this page. And which was this? This was a buddy color with Chelsea. We used an Aurora color palette. And so there's that one. And then this one, this was for the AC Palette Challenge in May. Just alcohol marker and some gold in some areas. Next, I completed this page in unicorns. I had completed this page over here in April, and so I finished this page in May. And a lot of this was with my granulating watercolors. Yeah, the backgrounds, yeah, just about everything on here on this page was with my granulating watercolors. And then I used my Hotu gold for all of the gold accents. Came in with my black acrylic to darken up all of the line work. And yeah, I don't have many like double pages completed in books, so this is kind of fun to see it like this. Oh, and then I use a stencil, a star stencil in the background with some of my Distress Oxide, a yellow ink for some stars. All right, this was my first Erie book that I got for my birthday from my husband, and it was a whip for a couple months because I decided to do a double page spread in here. So yes, took me a while. All right, and here are the completed pages. All right, so everything in here besides the background, the bricks, were based with my Prima watercolors. Yes, and then I used a brick stencil for the background, and I lightly used some Distress ink to just give me like a layout of where the bricks need to go. And then I came in with pencils and added some different colors to it. And then I did come in with my Prismacolors to add all of the extra shading to all of the elements. I wasn't sure I didn't know if these were photos, if they were like what they were. I turned them into stained glass. I hope that's kind of the vibe that it gets, but that's the only thing that I could really think of with the type of design that it had on there. I didn't know if they were, yeah, photographs or what they were, so I just turned them into little stained glass windows. But yeah, this was a lot of work, but I think it came out really pretty. And I used a lot of my different golds from my Temu golds that I use. And yeah, my daughter wants me to do this page next. And I have absolutely no idea what I would do. So yeah, I want to work on the Wizard of Oz next. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when I'm able to get into this one next. Next up is in Petit Poupée. This is a Instagram buddy color group. And for May, we did this image from Monsters Inc. It was all my Guangna acrylic. And then for June, it was this Merida page. Again, all of my guangna. For July, it is this stitch page. I did this back in August 2025 as a buddy color with Chelsea, so I will not be doing one in July for the group. And then in August, we have a Moana page. And then in September, we have a Rapunzel page. So that's for September. And this is for August. So if you're interested in joining that group, send me a message on Instagram and I will be happy to add you in there. Alrighty, yoga animals, so cute. This is another group on Instagram. And let's see here. For May, we did this little mermaid fox. And let's see here. All right, so I based everything in alcohol marker, and then I came in with acrylic markers and went over all the line work, and then used my Hotu gold for the gold on there. So yeah, I used a mix of my Zabif, just regular fine nibbed acrylic paint markers, and then some of my glitter markers in this one. But yeah, the little scales, I don't know if you can see how shimmery they are. But there's that one. And then for June, we had this unicorn page. And the background had some other like swirly stuff going on and I didn't like it, so I just used my black acrylic and I blacked out the background. Everything was based in watercolor, and then I came in with what did I use? I used a lot of my super golden metallic acrylic markers and then my Just Art glitter acrylic markers, and I went over all of the black line work on everything. And then I also went in and added long sprinkles and little dot sprinkles to the background. And on the black I also used some of my glaze pen. But yeah, it's so shimmery and sparkly. I thought it was very fitting for a unicorn page. But yes, this book is filling up, and a lot of the pages are like back to back to back. And then this was a page that they did in June 2025. So for the next several months, I'm hoping to get 2 pages in this book done each month. So this was watercolor base, and then again I came in with those acrylic markers and went over all the line work. And I was very sloppy with how I put the watercolor down. I wasn't particular about making sure that it stayed in the lines. I wanted it just like really pretty abstract, like you can see how they were outside of the line, the blueberries and stuff. And yeah, I just thought it was kind of fun. But yes, this is an adorable book, and it's really exciting to see all of these pages filling up. Okay, so for July 2026, we will be doing the axolotl page, and then July 2025, they did this page. So I'm hoping to get both this and this page done for July 2026. All right, then we have Lulu's House of Wonder. This was a buddy color. Oh, it was so long ago, I honestly don't remember who all did it. I think it was Chelsea and Nikki. I'm not 100% sure though. Okay, so let's see. I used alcohol marker to base. I used my Prismacolors to come in with shading. And then I used an acrylic. It was one of my Guangna metallic brush pens for the background. And yeah, I thought everything turned out super sweet and cute. I'm a Kansas girl, and sunflower is our state flower, and so yeah, I just love it. Thought it came out super cute. Alright, next I have Tales from the Forest Kingdom, and I completed this little image down here with the mushrooms and the rocks. I took I think it was just like a lid of some sort that was round, and I used a pencil and lightly gave myself like an area for where I wanted the background to start. And then I used my watercolor and just sloppily made the edges and like not uniform, and then I splattered my paintbrush to give me some, I don't know, some extra little dots on there. And then the Hotu gold was used on the gold. And then I did the Book Belongs To page. And I used a stencil that I have in my collection with distress ink. I used my watercolors. I believe that the wood was my granulating watercolors. And then I used my Prima watercolors for everything else. And I came in with my Prismacolors and added some shading to everything. Sweet. Oh, and those bled through. The paper in the Tales from books are nowhere near the quality of the paper from like the Daydreams. All right, and then in Creepy Cute by Kay Camaro, I did this page with Chelsea. I gifted her this book. I know it was one of her like wish list books, so I had gifted it to her, and she asked if we could Betty color in it. So I had done a couple other pages in here last year, and so we did this cute little bat boba page. And then I also, before she asked to Betty color, I had already done this little mermaid bunny kitty cat page. Just alcohol marker, and I used some sort of, I probably used my Spectrum Noir glitter brush pen for that. And then the purple areas are the Shandy's 3D jelly pins. So yes, fun, easy page. I'm just doing straight coloring in these books. So yeah. All right, guys, we're really getting down to it. So I don't know how long this video is yet, but okay. Next up, this was a new book for me. It was Mandela's Babies. And I did this page here with Boo. And this was water-based markers. And then pencil over top. And then I came in and did this Pooh and Tigger page. And this was all based in alcohol marker. And then I came in with my Color colored pencils and added some shading, and then I used my 3D Shandy's black for Pooh's nose and Tigger's eyes. So yeah, this came out really cute. I'm really happy with it. This book is adorable, and I'm assuming that the paper in here is going to respond the same as my baby stitch one. And so I will come in here with some water-based markers and maybe watercolors and see how I like them in here. All right, next I have several of my LuMeo books that I was love bombing. I was inspired by Erica from Elm Colors to use my Crayola Super Tips in here, and so I came in and did the what are these pages called? The intro pages. I'll do that on all of my LuMeo books. So it's just straight Crayola Super Tips, nothing fancy, no crazy shading or anything, but I did that. Million Sloths. I did this one. Erica does a much better job with her Crayola Super Tips in these, but I thought it was fun to just lay down some color, and I did try and do some blending, and it kind of worked and kind of didn't work. Some books were definitely better than others for the Crayola Super Tips. Here's this page. And I used Super Tips on my title pages, or sorry, my cover pages. What is this called? Yeah, whatever these, my cover pages. And I did have some bleed through with them. So again, not all of the paper is created equal. Million Hugs and Kisses. Came in and did this. Again, not my best work, but I don't think it needs to be. Just kind of fun. Again, I was having some, mental health stuff going on, and I just wanted to put color down. I didn't need it to be fancy or anything. And then in A Million Kawaii Cuties, I finished these two. Yes. Okay, next up we have Asleep by R.J. Hampson. This is a project book with Craft Time with Yaya. For May, we did this owl page. It was all based in alcohol marker. I did some shading with colored pencils, and then added white acrylic to the background for the stars. And then for June was this little panda bear. Again, it was based in alcohol marker. I used a circle stencil, and I used my Distress Oxides in two different colors. I think this is Faded Jeans and Broken China, and kind of mushed them together to give a background. And then I came in with acrylic markers and went over all the black line work for that. Those two pages. Then I completed just one page in here, and it was the Ariel page for Mermaid. Just simple alcohol marker and a little bit of white to cover up some of the bubbles. This paper takes the alcohol marker worse than the other books do. So I'm really going to try my watercolor or my gouache in here, because this paper really does just soak up the ink, and you can get lots of like blotchiness. So and then I have my Tiny Tales by R.J. Hampson, and I came and completed a bunch of pages. So these are all based in my Staedtler 320s. And then where all the dark shading is, I came in with my Papermate flares and added that in. So I completed this page. And then all of the like chapter pages I completed. So we have the bird section, the bloom section, the animals, the bugs, the bees, and I was really sloppy on these also. Oh, I did alcohol marker. Okay, I did alcohol marker, and then I came in with all of my Papermate flares and added all the line work. Yes. And then the snails. So all of my like chapter pages are done in there. Okay, final 3 books. In Inklings, I completed these 2 pages. The book belongs to page. Now, these were done, I absolutely know, based on the colors. These were based in these Stadlers. And then I came in with pencil and added shading on these. And then I carried over the color palette onto these 2 pages. And the gold is my Hotu Gold acrylic paint marker. And then I also came through this book and used my Hotu Gold and added it on all of the stars and keys. Anything that I know that's going to be gold. I think a lot of people are like coming through. I know Jess from Color and Bumblebee is coming through and love bombing, page hopping, that's what she's calling it, page hopping in her Small Victory, her Small Victories book. And I have thought that I might do that, but I might do it a little bit different. I think I might do it where like I come in and I like do all of my stars, but then maybe I come in and I find an element, all of my banners, all of the banners in the whole book get done. All of the butterflies in the book get done. Like I'll just go from page to page to page. All of the hearts in the book get done. Something like that, where I'm not just finding one element and doing it on one page. I want to do it throughout the whole thing and just kind of see how it goes. But, right, there's that. And then in Cozy Colo Fairy Tales, this was a new book, and I completed the Little Mermaid page for Mermaid. This was all alcohol marker, white acrylic, and then my black 3D Shandy's gel pen. All right, last but not least is from my Disney Portraits book. I finished a couple pages in here. I finished the anger page. This was for the Disney Pixar group on Instagram. The Pixar group for June, was Inside Out. And so I got him done. Let's see here. I also got Joy done. And these are based in my Prima Marketing watercolors. And then I took my acrylic pens. The glitter is my Just Art pens. And most of her is with my Guangna acrylic. And then I finished Rex because he was next to Joy, and there wasn't a whole lot to do. The way that my brain worked with this was that she had green on her dress and he was green, so I might as well just go ahead and do him too. Yeah, so I finished that one, and then lastly, for the Disney Pixar group, Lion King was the Disney movie, and I finished this picture of Scar. The background is acrylic paint. Yeah, the yellow is acrylic paint. There was, on this image, there were like scratch marks, and I didn't like that. So I just used my acrylic paint and covered it up. And then I added in this crack in the ground, and then I used my chalk pastels to add the green smoke. Like this is when he's doing the song Be Prepared. That was kind of the vibe I got from it. So yeah, I based him with my Prima watercolors, and then I came in and used a stencil with some black soot distress ink for some pattern and texture on the yellow. But yeah, this one came out pretty cool. I'm happy with it. All right, that's it. Okay, friends, that was a lot of completed pages. I will, yeah, hopefully not do that again, because that was a lot, and it was kind of overwhelming having all of my books like scattered around in different places. But anyways, yes, that is it for my complete pages for May and June 2026. Please let me know what your favorite page was, and yes, until next time, bye-bye.